What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel for yet another Battlefront 2 video. I know it's been about, is it 2 weeks now since I've put out a video, and that's just because of my busy schedule lately, attending school, got 2 jobs, and of course, YouTube. Yeah, it's taken a little bit more time to get through these videos than I thought it was. Today, however, we're talking about the officer class, and God, is there a lot to talk about with them. First of all, we have the new edition of the DL-18, which, like I said, is one of the newer guns that they put out probably a couple months ago at this point. And we've got 3 options for the, attachments. Improve cooling, reduce spread, and repeating mode. Now, each of these are really good attachments to have, and you could honestly have not all 3, obviously, but you could put the combination of any of these 3 and it would still be a great weapon. I've just found that with this specific gun, the best 2 for what I use it for are the reduced spread and the repeating mode. Because I don't like to tap a whole bunch, gets my wrist tired a lot faster than if I were to just hold down, and then reduce spread because obviously you want it to be as narrow and as focused firing as possible. But this is probably my number 3, if not my number 2 weapon. It's very close to the Blurg, and the reason I like the Blurg is because of that burst mode and the exploding shot. Again, all 3 of these attachments are good, and you could use any of the 3. I just, however, switched over to the exploding shot, and yes, it burns through your heat a lot faster, but it is definitely worth it for that extra damage, especially if you have the improved burst, which gives you 4 shots when you pull the trigger rather than just the normal 3. Now on to my favorite weapon, which is the SE-44C. And with this one, there's really only 2 choices. Night vision, we can go ahead and forget about that. Not worth it. There's just not enough uses in the game for it. Rapid fire is a must because you can just hold it down and it shoots so incredibly fast. And then, of course, the improved cooling to allow you to shoot significantly more before your gun overheats. So this is definitely my number 1 pick for the officer class. If you're not using this one, odds are it's because you haven't unlocked it or because you have another gun that you just specifically use for, very specific situations. This one, for example, if I'm looking to be a long-distance officer, which 90% of the time you're not going to be a long-distance officer, then but if you are, this is the gun for you. It does have the longest range. However, it has the slowest firing rate, if I'm not mistaken. Looks like we've got fire rates higher. Yes, so the slowest firing rate, but the most damage. And the 2 things I use are the dual zoom and the reduced recoil. But again, ion shot could be used. It's just very situational, depending on what kind of officer you're playing as. Oh, and then of course, I guess the starting weapon, but we don't really got to talk about that one. Here we go. Star cards. Now, this is where it comes into play. We've got a lot to talk about because it depends on what kind of officer you're going to be. My personal favorite card, Bounty Hunter, and that's across all classes because, again, I have played with the standard classes so much that I have them at level 171, 204, 200, and 115. So I'm kind of done with these guys. I'm just trying to get to other characters as fast as possible. That's where Bounty Hunter comes into play. We have the Officer's Presence. Of course, that one reduces the regeneration delay by 40% if you've got it maxed out. Then we've got Survivalist. Oh, wait. My bad, I said that in reverse order. This one reduces your health regeneration delay. This one reduces your surrounding teammates' health generation delay. Now, a lot of the time you won't see these cards that help out your teammates that are surrounding you used a whole lot. And that's because you don't really have to be a team player in Battlefront to succeed. You can go off and do your own thing, and as long as you're at least relatively competent, you can do pretty well. Get your own kill streaks, get some kills racked up, get some points, probably help your team by destroying an aircraft or the AT walkers. Just whatever the game mode is, you can usually do it by yourself. Now, there are a lot of game modes where you will do significantly better if you stay with your team. And I know that's been like a consistent theme through the making of all this stuff. With a lot of the heroes, the key to keeping a kill streak going is stay with your team. Like if your team's pushing, you push. If your team's falling back or dying with that push, you need to fall back with your team. The officer is very similar, where if you push with your team, you get a big boost, and it helps a whole lot more than if you were just going back behind enemy lines and murdering half of their team. So it is definitely a star card worth considering. Now the next one we've got is Resourceful. That one's kind of like Maul's ability, where just everything recharges faster, all of your abilities, which can be nice. I've used it here and there, but I guess it's not one of my main star cards for the officer class. The Brawler, I've mentioned before, it gives you health on a melee kill, and I believe it gives you a small amount of extra melee damage. But again, that one I use mostly for the specialist class. Don't really use it on any other class, but again, it may work for you on this class. So you take less damage when you're at critical health. Now for me, I've only ever noticed this adds one extra hit. So let's say you get really low on health, you're at like what, 10%? Or 10 health, you now will get 45% damage reduction, and then I believe that will only give you one more hit before you die. Unless they've changed it since then, but last time I tested it, it was one extra hit. We've got Marksman. When you defeat an enemy with a headshot, you get 40% heat reduction for your gun until it overheats the next time. Again, I don't really use this too often, but I never really let my gun overheat. I always hit squared just before it turns red. And when it turns red, that does mean it has overheated, and this star card will reset, so you do need to get another headshot for it to come into play. But 40% is a big boost. Then we've got Expert Weapons Handling. Basically, if you were to hit the gold, it lasts 66% longer for how long you can fire without building any heat. We've got the Improved Flash Grenade. Now, I had never really enjoyed the flash grenade, and I never got too good with it. Plus, with the bugs that Leia's flash had, the officer had the same ones with the flash grenade. I'm told they're fixed, and I'm told it's a lot better, but use this one at your own risk. Blast Command, where, I mean, it says it right there. It's an improved version of Battle Command, and you get unlimited blaster cooling, not just for yourself, but also for your nearby allies. Again, that comes with the stick with your team, and it's an even bigger boost rather than just helping yourself out. We've got the improved blaster turret. Now, I like this one a lot because it has so much health. It seems to have a little bit better of a locking on, too, so I don't know if it has a better AI, and the AI is more likely to hit someone than the regular blaster turret, but I've noticed this one has a longer range, and it just locks on a lot faster and a lot better to targets. On top of that, it also has a significantly shorter recharge time, and you can self-destruct it. So if someone gets too close and they're shooting it, trying to destroy it, just blow it up in their face, and it does a good bit of damage to them right then and there. The homing shot, I have said I like this one more for the heavy class, just because I like that it swaps out. Well, let's see which one it swaps out here. It swaps out the flash grenade. So, if you know how to use the flash grenade right, it's great. Even if it doesn't flash the opponents all that well, it does damage if you can have it explode on top of an enemy. It maybe gets them to half health, maybe in a quarter health, depending on where they were at before. The homing shot would replace that. Now, it does do a ton of damage when you're trying to stop AT walkers from advancing, or maybe you're trying to destroy an enemy vehicle or an enemy aircraft. It is great for that. I just don't use it too much as the officer. Then we've got Squad Shield with 1,400 health. That's pretty crazy. But as I've been saying for a lot of these, I don't use it too much for the officer. However, the officer is the only one that's going to have this. I use this one more when I'm playing as Leia, just because of the way I play as Leia. If you throw a squad shield down, you have to be very strategic with where you put it, or it can be used against you, because you can't shoot through it if you're inside it, and you can't shoot through it if you're on the outside. So it's a two-way barrier. You cannot shoot out of it to kill enemies. That would be pretty broken, and I'm sure we'd see a lot more usage of this squad shield. Improved Battle Command. This is probably one of my favorites. I don't think I've really ever taken it off. It does have a radius of 9, which is the same as the other Battle Commands. But It has a shorter recharge time. It has a bigger effective radius than the normal battle command. And then it also buffs yourself, so it'll give you some extra health as well as all the teammates around you. And this has saved me, specifically me, not just my teammates, from a near-death experience so many times. It just gives you 50 health like that on the spot. Like, you just activate L1 and R1 together, and boom, you've got 50 more health. So let's say you go down to that 10 damage marker I was talking about with this bodyguard active. Throw this on at the same time, and you've got an extra hit plus 60 health now, so you should be good. We've got recharge command. That one boosts yourself and friendly soldiers. It takes you out of recharge, which is basically your ability to stop refreshing, and then it just gives you the faster recharge speed, but it is very short. Like, it goes away after a few seconds. So I haven't used this one too much. Again, they could have changed it in a recent update, but since the last time I've used it, it hasn't been that great. We've got diffuser. This one was a little difficult, but once you get the hang of it, it's a good card as well. It creates a electrically charged field in a large area where you can basically diffuse all the incoming projectiles, assuming they're explosives. It doesn't have to be explosives. Like, I guess if it's a flash grenade, typically those are exploding after you detonate them, but it'll destroy the flash grenade as well. So it's kind of like if you've ever played Rainbow Six, Jaeger's active defense thing, or in Call of Duty, it's the little turret that shoots grenades out of the air. This is basically that ability. Now, disruption. This one is such a pain when someone knows how to use it. Like, if the enemy team has it, it's just rough. Basically, you've got this little thing, and when you activate it, if you're nearby, like within 20 is the radius, I guess you could be with someone, it will make their blaster automatically overheat. So you cannot fire at them until it A, goes back to white, or B, just goes all the way back down and resets itself, which makes it a pain. They can at least get you to half health most of the time before you could even get a shot off. But I don't use it myself too often because it does replace the blaster turret, and if you know how to drop a blaster turret down in the right areas, those things can be devastating, especially when you're trying to push. Let's say on one of the capital ships, you're trying to push forward, you drop that down to defend a position, you can just squat behind a barrier and wait for that thing to do its magic. So I'd say my top 3 cards: improved battle command, improved blaster turret, bounty hunter, and then, man, if I had to pick a third or fourth, I guess, would be the survivalist. Yeah, survivalist is just so nice. And then I guess squad shield could be my 5th, because squad shield it's very situational, but in the situations where you should use it, it is a game changer for sure. And I think that is about it for my officer class. Yeah, I talked about all the guns, talked about all the talked about everything. We're good. So I do hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to drop a like. If you didn't, let me know what you'd rather see in the comments down below. Anyway, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.